Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and welcome back to the Showdown Arena, a place where we put different classes and different specs head to head to see which one is superior in terms of DPS. Last time we had a battle of fire, and today we're having a battle of shamans. That's right, in this DPS Showdown we're going to put the Elemental Shaman head to head with the Enhancement Shaman. Lightning versus melee weapons, Wind Fury and Shocks. As before, we're going to check out the DPS they can do in 4 different gear levels. Level 1 is just some run-of-the-mill Burning Crusade blues. Level 2 is pre-rate best in slot, where both specs get some pretty sweet upgrades, partially due to craftable gear. Level 3 is with some tier 4 gear added, and last but not least, our grand finale, which is level 4. Tier 6 gear alongside some epics that drop out of Mount Hyjal and Black Temple to finish it off. So, without further ado, let's get acquainted with today's competitors. Starting off with the Elemental Shaman, a spec that is excellent in Classic and PvP, but looked down upon in PvE. Luckily for the Elemental Shaman, the Burning Crusade gave this class a big overhaul, and it became probably the best support class in the entire game, with tons of totems and other spells that drastically increase the DPS of both melee and casters. The Elemental Shaman is a welcome sight in any group. It will rely mostly on Lightning Bolt in terms of damage, with the occasional Chain Lightning snuck in there. Then we have its melee counterpart, the Enhancement Shaman. Like the Elemental Shaman, a spec that was not competitive in vanilla PvE, but because of some drastic changes, it finally became viable in the Burning Crusade. The biggest change probably being the fact that they can now dual wield instead of being forced to wear just one big two-hander, making their damage much more consistent and reliable. The Enhancement Shaman will get its damage from Storm Strike, melee hits, Wind Fury procs, and shocks like Flame Shock and Earth Shock. So, which one of these will reign supreme in today's DPS Showdown? Well, there's only one way to find out, so let's get started. And we're starting off with round 1, which is Burning Crusade Blue Gear. The Elemental Shaman pushed out a solid 1066.8 DPS. A good number considering the gear he's wearing. Can the Enhancement Shaman top that DPS though? Well, in this round, it did 909.6 DPS, so the Elemental Shaman takes this round. Round 2 is with pre-rate best in slot gear, and both classes get some serious upgrades with this gear level. The Elemental Shaman in this gear did 1181.4 DPS, a good increase and a respectable number in this gear. So, can the Enhancement Shaman make it a 1-1, or will the Elemental Shaman continue its winning streak? Well, the Enhancement Shaman did 1049.7 DPS. Still a pretty strong number and a big improvement over the 909.6 DPS it did, but unfortunately it was not enough to best the Elemental Shaman, so the Elemental Shaman is sitting pretty comfortable right now with that 2-point lead. However, we still have 2 rounds left. Can the Enhancement Shaman turn this into a tie? Let's find out. So, moving on to round 3 with some tier 4 gear thrown in there. The Elemental Shaman did a very strong 1466.2 DPS. A number obtained partially due to that awesome Spellblade from Prince Malchezaar, and of course that awesome trinket called the Lightning Capacitor. The Enhancement Shaman is going to have a hard time beating this number, but let's see if it can turn the tide and gain a point here. And the Enhancement Shaman did 1136.2 DPS, so it falls behind quite a bit compared to the Elemental Shaman, which is unfortunate, but we still have 1 round left, so maybe the Enhancement Shaman can win the grand finale with that tasty tier 6 gear. Alright, so here we are, round 4, and the Elemental Shaman with this gear did 1629.5 DPS. A pretty solid number, and the Enhancement Shaman is going to have to show a massive increase in DPS, as in the previous round it was already pretty far behind the Elemental Shaman. So, with this gear, and in this simulation, it did 1359.4 DPS. So in this showdown, the Elemental Shaman has reigned supreme, with a total domination and a 4-2-0 score over the Enhancement Shaman. However, I will add a few things here, and that is that the Enhancement Shaman in a more ideal situation with a little bit more gear from things like Sunwell Plateau, like some new weapons, should eventually catch up and even beat the Elemental Shaman if played well enough and if geared enough. While Elemental Shaman DPS is really strong in a good chunk of the Burning Crusade, it doesn't stack that well, so in a very late stage the Enhancement Shaman has a much bigger chance of leaving others in the dust, which is also what I saw on some boss fights in Sunwell Plateau that I looked up. I saw Enhancement Shamans doing more DPS than I was doing with just tier 6 gear and no added Sunwell Plateau gear. So keep that in mind if you're going Enhancement, not all is lost. Of course, as always, I have to remind you that this is not a 100% accurate simulation and that there's tons of other factors that come into play during raiding. Like for instance having the totem twist as an Enhancement Shaman in an actual raid, certain tactics, and I don't know how many other things. For now though, it was fun to see these two go head to head with each other, and a special thank you to Simoti for suggesting the showdown. Just a quick reminder that I have a poll up on my channel where you can vote on who the Shadow Destruction Warlock who got mentioned in episode 1 should go against. Cast your vote and let me know who you want to see go head to head against the Shadow Destruction Warlock. For now though, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel and have a good one.